Hey, yo, what's going on, friends? Welcome back to the ridiculously numbered system of In Madness Pod. This is what we think is episode 25.5. We're a quarter way of 100 in this bitch. It's Shawn the Butcher with Vertebrae 33 in Madness Pod. How's it going?
How you doing, Shawn? I'm here, safe and sound in a 0.5 episode. I'm not tied up on some bed being hobbled.
Or cauterized.
Yeah. Oof. And if you don't know what we're talking about, listen to the previous two episodes. But excited to be here in a 0.5, and I know we're gonna get some reader mail.
Yep, we're gonna dip into the mail sack.
You see how I try to kind of subtly change the name there.
Yes, we're gonna read some emails, and some news recently popped up that I definitely want to get into because, again, it's a bit of my childhood being rebirthed, and there's nothing I love more than some good of childhood nostalgia, my childhood nostalgia. And you got some stuff you want to talk about. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Miss Cherry Delight for being on our previous 0.5, which went crazy long. So this 0.5 will be crazy short. We'll do that, or maybe we'll talk about whatever the hell we want. But we want to hear from you what you thought about Misery, our previous episode, or Fire in the Sky. The amount of people who said they never saw Fire in the Sky and never heard of Fire in the Sky, and now we're checking it out. Like, could you imagine? Like, I'm traumatizing you so many years after this movie came out. Even posting the stuff on the socials I was posting was traumatizing me. But yes, I want to give you traumatic psychological breakdowns as well on In Madness Pod on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads at In Madness Pod. Hit us in the mail sack. We're dipping into the mail sack today. We got a couple we're going to get into. inmadnesspod@gmail.com. Subscribe to our YouTube. Give us the 5-star review. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the In Madness Spotify playlist, which is the most poppin' playlist in town. So much cool shit on there from all of the movies we have talked about. Music from Knocked Loose, music from the Mist soundtrack, a ton of John Carpenter on there. Make sure you tell your friends to spread the madness worldwide. We want everybody listening to this show having as much fun as you are listening to it as well. And send us your voice notes as well. Anything you want to send us in the mail sack, inmadnesspod@gmail.com.
Absolutely. We want to hear from you. We want your hate mail too. Send us your hate mail.
Oh,
Tell
please.
us how disorganized we are, how we confuse things.
We're never going to get over it, and we're going to bring it up constantly on the podcast.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's dig in.
Are you ready? Are you ready? We're going to dig in. We're only going to read a couple. We're not going to read the many hundreds of emails that we currently have in the mail sack. We're just going to dip in, and we're going to blindly pick out two. So I'm just going to shuffle through the mail sack here. We got Rob U. Ooh, Rob's got a nice little 2 paragraphs here. Rob says he's a big fan since Barbarian.
Nice.
Hey, been a fan of the podcast since I first listened to your Barbarian episode. Then I went back to the beginning and loved every episode since. Look at that. That warms my heart. I only skipped Lighthouse and The Menu since I haven't seen those movies, but they are on my watch list. That's why we do these movies. Exactly like I just said about Fire in the Sky. That's why we do these. Milking of the alpacas gets me every time. Love Shawn facts and how Vertebrae always does good research for the gnarly bits. Look at that. Look at that. We appreciate that. I love the movie Lucy, especially. Yeah. He loves Mr. Zhang. Yeah. In the In Madness Villain Hall of Fame. Mr. Zhang, Miss Carmody, and damn, there's somebody else in there. I got to write it down. I forgot who else is in there.
You might have to add Annie Wilkes.
Maybe. I have a few suggestions related to the character. I don't know how to say his name. The dude who played Mr. Zhang. He's in I Saw the Devil, Lady Vengeance, and Old Boy. The first is a psychological horror. I mean, I've seen Old Boy. I don't know. I think I've seen I Saw the Devil. This is just me speaking. The first is a psychological horror movie with him as a serial killer. Yes. In Lady Vengeance, he's also a villain and Old Boy as one of the most intense anti-heroes. His villain in the first two will definitely join the ranks of your villain hall of fame after you watch them. Old Boy is also a movie that deserves its own episode. Thank you for reading this. When or if you do, keep rocking in madness. Look forward to all the new movies and gnarly bits you get into this year. Sincerely, Rob, aka Robot the Living. Shout out to Rob.
That was awesome. Thank you, Rob. We appreciate it. We appreciate you going back. Shawn, that's how I get into podcasts. I find them. I usually find them after they've started, and then you just latch on to like, oh, they covered this film and I really like that film. And then you're like, oh, well, I like the way they covered that film or that book or whatever it is. And then you kind of dig back into that back catalog. And I think, and people end up binging. So you do periods of time where you're going to listen to a whole bunch of these in a row, then you take a break, then you listen to more. And it's great. I've seen, when I dip in and look at those numbers a little bit for us, I see a lot of back catalog stuff getting listened to and downloaded. And I think, okay, that means somebody new started listening to us and now they're going back in and catching up. And if we have a week where there's a bunch of people who listen to Color Out of Space, for me, that's a win, because if you haven't seen Color Out of Space, it's going to be so awesome when you do, and you get to listen to us talk about it as well. And, that's a film that's not only become an integral part of this podcast, but it's become one that I'm almost like, oh, I got to watch Color Out of Space. Like you kind of just put it on in general.
Except Benny lives in the well now.
Yeah. Yeah. But so it's awesome, and we will take any suggestions too. So thank you for giving us suggestions on films. We'd love to hear it. Shawn and I have not seen every film, right? So
I tend to watch the same movies over and over again.
Right. You fall in love with it, you watch it, and my brain sticks on that movie, as you can tell by this podcast. So I tend to watch movies and then just keep digesting them over and over again for a period of time. So that's why my movie watch list always increases, because you
just showed me 15 unopened DVDs that you have.
I got my 4K disc collection is growing, and I will purchase them in anticipation of us doing it on the podcast. So if they have a deal, Shout Factory, you had the Carpenter sale. It's like, okay, I got to get a couple Carpenter films and add them to it. So I'm doing research in advance and listening to the books if I can, and we appreciate that email. Thank you very much, Rob.
We got another one. Make sure you hit us in the mail sack. We will read your email on air and answer your questions. Anything you have about our past 25 movies, or even our little in-between bits for the 0.5s, where we talk about whatever we want: comic books, toys, art, whatever the hell it is. Is this Will Gomez? Is this my man Will Gomez, bass player of Lost Becomes? Check out our The Menu episode with Chef Brian Sow of Mission Sandwich. You could pick up the Hail Shawn sandwich that we created. Brian is also the guitar player for Lost Becomes, who are also on the In Madness playlist. And my man Will Gomez, bass player of Lost Becomes, has sent us an email. What's up, guys? Shawn, my man, you guys killed it on the last episode. Vertebrae 33, you are a funny MF. Fire in the Sky is one of my all-time favorite movies, and listening to you guys talk about it and shit on those dumbass scenes at the dinner party made me crack up so much. I loved it. He's referring to the dinner party where nobody gives a crap about Travis. They're just shoving each other for the jelly and the macaroni salad. I don't know if this movie suggestion will make for a good podcast, but have you guys ever seen the movie Altered States from 1980 starring William Hurt?
Absolutely.
Oh, you've seen it. Okay.
Oh, absolutely seen that film. Yeah, that was that's a film to make you really uncomfortable. Yeah.
He says it's an older movie and can be slow at times, but it's such a wild and strange film. Anyway, Shawn, I'll see you around. Shout outs, Will. Keep up the good work. Will Gomez, Lost Becomes. Phone number 6463. Oh, I would never. I will never. And he even attached the picture for the Altered States poster, which is cool.
Yeah.
Shout
Yeah.
outs to Gomez, the homie. Check out Lost Becomes right now. Another friend of the show. So many friends to this show. We've had so many cool people on this show, and I love the way, like I said in another episode, that like the In Madness tentacles spread through many cool different things and people, and we just want to grow that family and get everybody with our little suction cups like Cthulhu and just bring everybody in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great that people, care enough to write in, to pay attention, to try new films because we talk about it. Like it's really awesome to have people be that involved with it.
What do you got quickly? You got your thing, I got my thing, and we could wrap
All
up our
right.
0.5 quick episode.
Whoa, that's super quick. Hold on, but it's gonna take me a
Yeah,
second.
well, take
to
your
grab
time.
this.
Take your time. I
You
mean, we
talk
yeah,
while I'm.
yeah. I'll give you a topic. Duran is neither Duran nor Duran. I'm verklempt. Discuss.
Oh God. So I'm a crazy book collector, right? On top of the 4Ks, and this is the point in when Miss Vertebrae 33 listens to the podcast and probably gets really mad, but because of all the money I'm spending. But I just got this book, and I was like, when I get this book, I have to show it to Shawn, but I can barely even hold it because it's humongous. But I'm going to turn it around, and it's from Taschen Books, and it's the history of EC Comics.
Holy
And
shit.
look at the size of this book right here, this massive book that I'm showing, the history of EC Comics. And if you don't know EC Comics, you should dig into it and Google them and find out about Tales from the Crypt comics. I'm doing what Paul Sheldon did when he was working out with the typewriter, trying to hold this book up in the air.
This it's like the size of a toilet bowl. This book is
Yeah,
massive.
it's huge, and they had a huge like 50% off sale, so I was able to get it. There
Check
you
it
go.
out
Half
on
off.
first
But
off, you could see us on YouTube. If you're listening right now, check out YouTube. You can see this amazing comic. We are posting this on our socials as
yeah,
well.
I
This
can't
is
even like
beautiful.
lift it
How
up.
many pages? How many pages?
I don't know. It's a gazillion. Like I don't even know what I'm opening up.
Look at
You can't
that. All
even
right.
see me on
You gotta send
the
me
thing.
you gotta send me pictures of that. We'll post it on the socials.
Yeah, but this is, we were talking about. I can't even hold. I got to take it off my lap. It's like when Annie Wilkes dropped the manuscript on his lap. Hold on.
That is beautiful. Honestly, I'll look like a poser right now. I am not. I thought you said DC. I'm not familiar with EC.
Yeah, EC Comics is kind of the horror comics line. The Tales from the Crypt came from it. They have an extensive history with comics. I don't even want to give it away to people because I don't want to, but you should look into it and do some research on the comics code and everything else and all that EC Comics went through. And super influential, and a lot of amazing, from Frazetta to Bernie Wrights, and a lot of people worked on EC Comics and did illustrations for them. So this is just a tome. I don't know when I'll get to actually. It's not a book you can I would kill myself if I tried to read that in bed. Right? That would just crush me.
There's no way.
So there's no way. It's not a lap book. You kind of have to sit at like a table or something and look at it. Maybe I got to get one of those book stands.
A podium. It needs like
those
a
old
podium.
school book stands that you have. Maybe I got to get one of those. But I was thinking as the 0.5's going on, I kind of want to just talk about some things that come up, and people asked about
Whatever
comics.
you
So I
want,
was like,
yeah.
hey, let's talk a little bit about comics, and check that out. Taschen Books puts out some incredible giant size books. They often have big sales. Like this was a 50% off sale. So if you can catch it for that, you're buying this amazing book.
Well, now I want to show off, because after we talked about comics in a recent 0.5. I think when we were reading out of the mail sack, somebody had asked us who our favorite comic book artists were.
Right.
So I was naming a couple, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to post them. But instead, I just pulled some out and was like, these I want to read because I haven't read them. And like, they're right here. I mean, I don't want to, but look, I found this.
Oh, I have that. Yeah. Yeah.
This is my Alien 3 comic.
Yeah, we just
sorry, I'm just showing it. I'm just showing
holding
it.
An Alien 3
idiot.
comic from Dark Horse Comics. They
Look,
had a whole series.
Max.
Yep.
This is one of my favorite comic books ever, and favorite animations ever.
Right.
But yeah, no, I'm not going to show everything, but yeah, I have it right here. I want to read all of these. But this Alien 3, I can't wait till we do Alien 3. Alien 3 was the first Alien movie I saw. I saw it before any of the Alien movies. That was my introduction to Alien. So I have like it's got a special place.
Oh wow.
There was like a fire in the sky moment where I had to stop and play Mortal Kombat on Genesis and walk into the other room. There was the same moment like that in Alien 3 where like blood and guts popped onto the screen and I literally like like I gasped and had to like, it was on VCR. I had to stop the VCR and go outside and play because I was and all I did was while I was playing was like thinking about that scene,
Of
like it
course.
poisoned my
Yeah.
brain.
And that movie, there's a comic adaptation of the original screenplay because that movie went through a lot of changes. So recently they put out a hardcover adaptation of that. So I have that too. So when we eventually do Alien 3, we can kind of post that as well because it's
It gets so much crap and I'm like, screw you guys. Like this is golden. I love it. I love it. Was that what you want to get into, or should I go
yeah,
into my
it was a big workout to get that book. But oh, you know what? One other thing,
go
actually,
ahead.
I'm gonna because we're pushing this YouTube so people could see it. But
Look at him digging through his crates. If you don't know vertebrate, he's got the swamp. What is the creature, the Black Lagoon Halloween bucket behind him? That
yeah,
sick
and
alien poster you got behind you. He's got a Star Wars poster there.
so when we were at Comic Con, my neighbors across the way were a place called Mischief Toys, and we became friends with Mischief Toys. They have an incredible YouTube channel, Shawn, where it's actually much like your setup. It's well lit, and they both look fantastic on it. And we should probably have them on here in the future. But they celebrated an anniversary on YouTube Live, so I jumped on to sort of just type in like congratulations, and they shouted me out on their YouTube Live and put me over and told people to go to the site, and then said they had put out this black metal toy, and they're black
Yes.
metal ghastly. They wanted to send this little guy to me, so they
We
sent
are
this
going to post that on our
little
socials at
gift.
In Madness Pod.
Yeah, and it's awesome because it's an edition of 666 of
Sick.
the ghastly, and they did kind of the black metal type there and stuff
So
like that
cool.
too. But yeah, they were like, oh, you need one of these, and they messaged me and then sent it to me. So I thought it was really fantastic, and we should definitely have them on because I think not only could we get into some movie conversations with them, but I think it would be a really sort of motivating conversation for people who want to break into things and their story and their business and what they've built. And you and I spent time across from them and watch their droves and droves of fans buy things like they were going to be gone in 2 seconds if they didn't buy it. And I was just super impressed by how they handled themselves and the business. So please, huge shout out to Mischief Toys. We will definitely get them on the podcast. Maybe we could show up on their YouTube channel. We'd have to ask them, but they have this like fancy studio and stuff, so we might have to figure something out. But I thought that was awesome, and you know, that goes with what we've been doing when we build the podcast. We talk about movies, they become part of our In Madness canon, they become part of our family, so to speak, and then we can refer to them later on. So I've mentioned Cadabra Records on here a couple times. Love to have somebody on from there, and now Mischief Toys as well. And big thank you for my black metal ghastly that they sent. Check them out, Mischief Toys.
Tell him your other booth crony would love a little toy. That thing is really cool. Yeah, I didn't get them for our 0.5 either. Oh, yo, check out the 0.5 from Comic-Con this last year. We put that together. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Getting all those guests on. Thank you for everybody who participated in that New York Comic-Con 0.5. Shall I get into my final thing, my closing
absolutely.
arguments? Back in the day, there was the X-Men cartoon. I think it was on Fox. I guess it was on Fox. This is back when they had the classic Spider-Man cartoon. And I love that X-Men cartoon. It was one of the best of all time. It had one of the greatest theme songs of all time. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. That
I
was
used
92, right? I think it was 1992.
which would mean I was 9 years old, and
Mhm.
yeah, because I remember watching it with my brother, which would have made him 3 years old. Yeah, yeah, this is crazy. I'm an
Mhm.
old man now. This is crazy. Um, and I loved it so much, and I use that music when I'm on the radio sometimes. It's like background music because it's like, how do you not get amped listening to that?
Mhm.
I guess I have to resubscribe to Disney Plus, unless you want to hit me with that password if you're listening in Madness family. Because Disney Plus is going to be relaunching a brand new X-Men, I guess it's called X-Men 97 animated show.
Mhm.
And I think they have all the same voice actors, which is
Huh.
it sounds like it. I don't know that for a fact, but it sounds like it.
Right. Oh, so it
Um,
was 97. I was wrong. I said 92.
yeah, I mean that's it, it's called X-Men 97.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's when it originally came out.
Mhm.
I mean, this is a point five. I didn't do my research, so
Yeah. It's all
but
good.
it's called X-Men 97, and they're picking up where the series finale left off. I guess whatever year it was out, maybe 97, probably 97. But it looks so good. It looks so cool. It was one of my favorite cartoons ever. And I love, like, please, we in order to watch the Super Bowl, I had to get Paramount Plus.
Mhm.
So I had, because I don't have cable. And now that I have Paramount Plus, I started rewatching all old Beavis and Butthead movies, and just like they're relaunching X-Men. It's like, yeah, you know what? Just like give it back to me. I want it all back. Give it all my wrestling toys that I had when I was a kid that I lost and gave away. My brother, who was at a yard sale, and he found a box of wrestling toys. He's like, which ones do you want? And they were all ones I had, and I bought them back for like quadruple the price. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. It's like I want it back. These are the $5 figures I used to buy at the thing.
Yeah.
I got like 6 of them for $80. Like, just I
You
had them.
know,
I had them all.
Shawn, there's a really cool book. I just thought of it just now that's on the art and making of that original X-Men series. It's on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon, but it's a cool kind of art book, and I think it has sketches and pictures of cells and everything in there. So that's pretty neat. Yeah,
Do
I
you know
did
the
see when
name of
that
it
news
by any
came out.
chance?
Not off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
exactly.
Again,
It's a point five. It's a point
we're
five.
winging
Yeah.
it. We can post it later on, but um yeah, you know what too? You brought up the streaming service thing, and I'll just say I just realized that I get Shutter. I get all the streaming
Shout
services.
outs to Basil for the Shutter password.
Yeah. So you just incriminated somebody here. You might have to edit that one out. But I get Shutter, and then I realized, because I was looking to get something, and we go through this all the time because we're looking up things for the podcast, and we don't know what platform they're on or whether I should buy it on disc. And there's certainly, I have a hierarchy of like, oh, I really want to own this on disc, or I just need to watch it, a couple times for the podcast because it's not something I watch all the time. And I needed to get AMC Plus, and then quickly realized that AMC Plus includes Shutter,
Mhm.
and AMC Plus is cheaper than the solo Shutter subscription
And I
that I
do
was
have
paying
AMC
for.
Plus, so I pay for that so Shutter can get my cash through AMC Plus.
Right, but it's cheaper to get AMC Plus, and you get Shutter on there already.
And
So
then
I
Halloween is on there, and all the Halloween movies are on there. And I recently watched Terror. Me and my girl were watching the show Terror. Have you watched that yet?
oh, the Terror.
The Terror, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
about the
the
strip that
boat.
gets, yeah, in the ice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Good
based.
show. Good
Yeah,
show.
that was the one I think that's what I wanted to see. There's 2 seasons of that, and there's a third one coming out, although the second season is way different. But, my love of Arctic horror, and, the new season of True Detective has got me wanting to watch all of that. I have a list of Arctic horror films that we should cover, as well as books in that genre. But yeah, the Terror has been on my list for a little bit. The problem is that the time that I get to watch these things is sometimes really late at night, and people get to talking a lot and accents and stuff, and then I'm asleep before then I fall asleep before I know it. Um, But ironically enough, if something comes on that I already know about, I end up staying awake more because it's like, oh, there's this part coming up, and I got to stay awake to watch like this part. But that's on my list. I would love for us to kind of get into some TV series once in a
Man, we can talk about the new X-Men when it comes out on Disney Plus. Like, let's do
Okay.
do you have Disney Plus?
Of course. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Star Wars, you
Yeah.
friggin' nerd.
Yeah. And I'm a
Yeah.
father too, right? So I've got it. But we've
Oh,
got,
that's true, that's true, yeah.
yeah.
That was the thing, I had Disney Plus and I watched all of The Simpsons, and then I watched, a couple of, like, God, what did I watch? I don't know, a couple of a Mandalorian. I watched Mandalorian, and then, like, I was like, I don't wanna watch any Disney movies. I'm not watching any of this shit, and I was like, "I'm canceling this." So,
Oh.
yeah, I got rid of it. I got rid of it
Ah, there's
now.
so much on there I love. I'm the perfect customer for these streaming services because once I get into a relationship with them, I never drop it. So it's, I'm the keeper of Disney Plus, Netflix, uh Paramount, now AMC Plus. I had Shudder. I've considered Criterion Collection a few times. And now Tubi, which is great, and you don't have to pay for it.
Free.
Tubi has
I
a
love Tubi.
ton of
Yo,
stuff.
and I shouted it out in the last episode. Shout outs to the local library. If you can't find a movie that we're talking about anywhere, check your local library. They might have it because they rent out or whatever, loan out a lot of really cool stuff, not just books. They got DVDs and all cool like supplies for parties, and they got lots of weird stuff at the library. I haven't stepped foot into a library in probably 20 years.
Mhm.
And I walked in there to get Misery for our last episode. So,
And
like,
you know what, Sean, this is gonna be like a moment in Seven where you have to start taking out movies from the library that are on our podcast, and then you get flagged because of the types of movies that you're taking
no,
out
I
from
want to
the
get friendly
library.
with the security guards who play poker.
Absolutely. I think the library up by me has like a 3D printer and stuff. This is our first official sponsorship will be the Nassau or Suffolk County
The public library. Go
library.
read your ass a book, but also listen to In Madness Pod. That's all I have. So shout out to the new X-Men. I can't wait to see it. Should we wrap it up for a quick 0.5 like we had planned to do in the first place? Do you have all your bits in that you wanted to get to?
Absolutely. I mean, it's endless. I could look around here and just pick up book after book and talk about it and try to figure out how to hold it up on the screen in the right direction. But people don't need to deal with that. And if you're in your car, you can't see it anyway. But, I say it a lot, but I appreciate anyone taking this ride with us, listening to us talk about these films, listening to us on these 0.5s. And any suggestions you have for anything, we're always open to films. We're always open to books you want to tell us about. Influences, if you find a gnarly bit on an old movie that maybe we skipped, I'd love to know it because I feel like I did a good amount of research on them, but there might be some stuff I missed, and it would be exciting to find out about it. So appreciate it. I'm Vertebrae 33 on all social media. Check out my artwork and my t-shirts, my line of merch sold at all Hot Topic stores, and appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah, you could follow us on the socials at In Madness Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. Make sure you send us emails. We will read them on the show like we did in the beginning of this episode. We are on YouTube, so you can see all the cool stuff that Vertebrae 33 is holding up. This toilet bowl sized comic book he just got in the mail. Subscribe to the In Madness Spotify playlist. You can jam out to that. We got 3+ hours of music on that mother effer, and tell your friends about all of this. Spread the word, spread the madness, grow the family, grow the In Madness tentacles. Thank you very much for joining us. Hint. Hint. We got to do a hint. Do you remember? Oh, do you remember what movie we're doing?
I do. I mean, I have a hint, but it takes it away. It gives it away right away.
What's yours?
I will say I got one. I will say that gentleman in this movie was just in a Super Bowl commercial.
Okay. And I have one. Anytime. We will see you for episode 26 of In Madness Pod.